Hey, what's up, everyone? Man, it's Brent with BC Does, bringing you folks hopefully another watchable video. It is now 7 o'clock on Friday night. We are finally here. We have arrived to game night. Kickoff is just mere an hour away. Got a lot of nervous energy. Let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Was going to bring a short, but decided to go ahead and do a long form video tonight. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on Auburn Baylor tonight and what I think is going to happen. What could happen, and best case scenario for Auburn, worst case scenario for Auburn. So I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the line has now moved. Now it's Baylor minus 1.5. Over under is 57.5, depending on where you look. This line has jumped back and forth. There was a time where Baylor was a minus 2.5 point favorite at home, and then Auburn jumped ahead to the minus 2.5 point. Now the money line has moved back to Baylor. All the money's going on Baylor right now. I don't know what's happened in the last 24 hours. I like to think I would know. I stay on top of it with all my current news and everything else. Maybe it's the news with Alex McPherson still, battling the injury. Special teams gives them that slight 1.5 point favor. I always kind of thought that Baylor should have been favored in this game, seeing how it is a home game for Baylor down in Waco. They're really going to be up for this game. They ended the season red hot last year. Everybody knows, rattled off 6 wins in Big 12 competition. And let's be honest, man, I haven't heard anybody say any of this other than the LSU game, which I don't even want to say the LSU game. Did any of those teams that Baylor rattled off 6 wins against at the end of last year have any defense to speak of whatsoever? I don't think so. And which gets me into, let me back up. Baylor rattled off 6 wins toward the end of last year, and they played a bunch of teams that had porous defenses, and Baylor gave up a lot of points in those games, and in some of those instances, they were lucky to get out of there with a win. But they did win 6 in a row, came into the offseason with a lot of momentum, got a few pieces from the transfer portal, try to shore up that defense. But man, I don't know. I like my chances with Kendrick Falk, Blockton, Harris, Ken Lee, all these guys, and this plethora of talent Auburn has around them. The only question mark, and I've heard people go over this game for infinitum for weeks and weeks. Everybody says Jackson Arnold's the question mark. And he is a question mark. But to me, the biggest question mark in this game is Hugh Freeze, not Jackson Arnold. It's Hugh Freeze. I said it in my previous video. If Jackson Arnold is just average or a hair above average, then Auburn wins this game. No doubt. Because the quarterback play was so bad last year. It was so bad. So all Jackson Arnold's got to be is 2-3% better than Peyton Thorne was last year. And Auburn would have had 3 more wins last year than what we had. And I take that into consideration. Another year under Hugh Freeze's scheme for the rest of the team. I know the quarterback's new. Obviously Jacquez Hunter's not there, but I don't think there's a big drop off there at running back. And we'll see tonight. What do I think? I think if Auburn's able to set the line of scrimmage on both sides, and Auburn's able to run the ball in Dave Aranda's defense, and Auburn can run the ball with the quarterback and with the running backs, with Cobb and Austin and all those guys, I think it's going to be a long night for Baylor. If Dave Aranda is able to disguise the defense and drop people back in coverage that look like they're blitzing, but then drop back in coverage and confuses Jackson Arnold a lot and gets Jackson Arnold in a lot of 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 10s, where he has to throw the ball and makes a couple of mistakes, it could be a long night for Auburn. So, my heart tells me that Auburn's going to win this game. I don't think there's been a bigger game in Auburn freaking history in recent memory than this game tonight, man. Everybody's like, Hugh Freeze has to win this game. He has to win this game. If Auburn loses this game, they can still meet their goals. And hell, man, winning 7 or 8 games would be I hate to say it, and my Auburn family knows this, but winning 7 and 8 games would be a blessing compared to what's happened in the last 4 or 5 years. And y'all know it. I know it. But, man, it's going to be tough if you drop this game to Baylor to have to go into Oklahoma and to go into Kyle Field down there and play Texas A&M back-to-back on the road and think that you're going to rattle off 2 wins there. It could be a slippery slope. I think if Auburn beats Baylor, I think they win. They beat Ball State, and I don't know who they play next. But then they play Oklahoma, and then they play Texas A&M. I think if Auburn beats Baylor, they win their first 5. I really, really do. And I think their true test is going to be going against Georgia, which then we're having a whole nother conversation then. And then, think of what it could be. If Auburn was to beat Baylor, and I know it's a big if, but if Auburn was to beat Baylor and was to go into Norman and beat Oklahoma, go into Kyle Field, where Auburn's been very successful. Everybody talks about how great, Texas A&M is. Well, history-wise, Auburn's been very successful in Kyle Field. I remember there was a time where the home team lost in that series every other year. So I don't fear Texas A&M like everybody else does. Like, the media loves to pump up Texas A&M, and yes, they have a lot of talent, but as an Auburn fan, I don't really fear Texas A&M. Oklahoma, I don't really fear Oklahoma either. And then Auburn fans shouldn't fear Baylor, and they shouldn't fear Texas A&M. They shouldn't fear Baylor. Where are we at, Auburn? What are we doing? Hugh Freeze, you have to win this football game. You better win this game. You got to. And I think that's the difference. I really do. I think with so much riding on this game, that Hugh Freeze's guys and his team and will rally around and find a way to gut out a victory. Anything's possible. Everybody saw USF just mollywop Boise State last night. I don't know why I thought Boise State was such a good team, losing who they lost last year. I got to quit betting. No. I took Auburn to win in this game, and I took the over. I think this game's going to be a higher scoring game than people think it is. I got Auburn 33, Baylor 27 is what I got in this game. That's what I got, man. That's what I got. I think Auburn wins this football game. I think Auburn starts the season off 1-0, and God, I hope so, because how great would it be if Auburn was to win tonight on Friday night, and then the rest of us Auburn fans just sit back and enjoy college football for the rest of the Labor Day weekend. That's my hope and dream for all of the Auburn fans that are out there watching this video, and all of the Auburn fans that are out there that aren't watching this video like my dad. Man, Auburn's got to find a way to win. Auburn's better at every position, with the exception of quarterback, but that remains to be seen, at every position on the field, period. There's no, and special teams. I don't know if Auburn's better than Baylor on special teams. That's it, man. I know you can't just roll your helmet out there and expect to win, but talent-wise, with Malcolm Simmons and freaking Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson and Malik Blockton and Ken Lee and Connor Liu and Falk and all these guys, Caleb Harris, all these guys out there, get a win for us. Get a win and cement your legacy. Remember, this is what Auburn was selling to all these recruits. This is your time now. This is now Hugh Freeze's full recruiting class. This is his time now. This is the time for these young men to bring back the winning ways to Auburn, where 8 to 9 wins every year was the expectation. The expectation. And I don't think, with as much money as Auburn's put into this program, as much money as the boosters have put into NIL, as much money as Auburn's put into facilities, as much attention and as much passion as the Auburn fan base has and the Auburn alumni house for their team, you got to win this game for everybody. You got to win this game for everybody. Remember, folks, right now, we're undefeated at 0-0. The game kicks off here in about 45 minutes. I will be here throughout halftime and through the end of the game with some shorts. Man, let's go Auburn. War Damn Eagle. Let's get this win against Baylor, and let's put ourselves on the map and show the world that Auburn is back and we mean business. And I'll see you folks at halftime.